Okie dokie.
There we go.
Good. Hopefully you're looking at a census record, and for right now, don't worry that you can't read it. Military records. Wow, what's a military record? There are, when I got into this and with some of the questions Wifey and I were discussing, there are a lot of little tidbits, and they can all help you in your quest to find a military record. Some of the things I'm going to just mention. Some of the things I will actually bring up, and some of the things we will actually do some searches, or I will show you how to do searches. Because I've got so many different things and we have an hour, that's the way we're going to have to do it. One of the things I thought I would start with is a census record. And you're probably going, what on earth is a census record going to tell you about a military record? And we're going to be having a class on census records in, I think, just a couple of weeks. So keep an eye out for that email. And part of these, I knew there were a couple, and as Wifey and I were discussing this, she says, well, what about this question and that question? So instead of information on 2 census records, it caused me to look, and I found out on the 1840 census, which you can see on Familysearch or in Ancestry, there is a question on there, were you in the Revolution? And that's the 1840 census. Well, if you have that little tidbit of information, you can start searching for that ancestor. In the 1890 census, which there is very little of left, sorry, not my fault, burned and water damage. It asks if you were a veteran of the Civil War or a widow of one of those people. What I did not know is there is a Union Veterans and Widows schedule, and you can find that in Familysearch and in Ancestry. And it may give you some information on your ancestor. And in case you want to make a note, if you just do a search either in Ancestry or in Familysearch, and I'm going to try and show you this in a bit, Union Veterans and Widows schedules, you can find that. Or if you have a piece of paper, and I'll repeat this later if you need to, familysearch.org/search/catalog/230777. You can bring that up and search it.
There was also.
Oh, Wifey says they also have a Confederate veterans and widows. I have not found that. So we'll have to have her figure that one out, and we'll let you know how to find it. 1910, it says, are you a survivor of the Union or Confederate Army? And then the 1930, and this one is one that really was a huge, huge help for me. I happened to be looking at my grandfather, George B. Hauser, and most people, when they look at the census, they only look at the name. Oh yeah, it's the right date from Indiana. Yeah, we're good. Well, on the census record, I'm making this bigger. Over here on the far right is a question. Are you a veteran? Yes, and if so, what campaign? Philippines. We had no idea he had been in the Army, and whenever he did this, it prompted me to start and do a search, and I was able to pull up his military records. Also, in the 1940 census, and I'm going to do a search here. For Owendu, North Carolina, 1893.
It's born in 92.
And we go down here to the 1940 census. And I will bring this up. And we got very lucky on this one, because if you look on the 1940 census, there are two sample lines. And I can't read the line number, but these are just two lines they chose at random, and this happens to be Isla Du. This is Wifey's mother, and she was a very sweet lady. But down here, it asks, is she, well, I was going to say, is she a veteran? No, it asks, are you a veteran or are you a child of veteran? And it just has W for the World War, because World War II hadn't happened and W was sufficient. So there's another clue that will tell you where to go and start hunting. Okay, this is one I'm just going to tell you about. Sometimes you can go to a courthouse and find records. Again, Wifey and I happened to be in a courthouse in North Carolina, and we weren't even, I don't think we were even looking for military records, and we see this book, and it's a register of all the young men that had fought in, I can't remember which war, I think World War I. And we were able to pull it out and find her grandfather. And of course, you can also go to local historical societies and things like that. Another, oops, I see something in the chat here. Oh, somebody put that in there on how to find that schedule. Thank you. Something to look for, and you can Google this. You can look for it in Ancestry. You can look for it in Familysearch. You can look for it in the National Archives. I'll show you how to get there shortly. And at va.gov, and I'll show you that shortly. But what you want to hunt for is the BIRLS, B-I-R-L-S, Beneficiary Identification Records Locator Subsystem. Yes, that's a government thing, which is why it has the long information. You can get a, it's basically how to find a grave, especially if you have applied for a military marker. But that is BIRLS, B-I-R-L-S. Okay, here we go with another one. Let me get rid of this. The National Park Service has a website. And I'm going to show you this one. If I can get backed up here, when I'm sharing screen, it goes slower. nps.gov/Civil War. Now, obviously, this is only good for the Civil War, but the Soldiers and Sailors database, you can punch a name in there. You can look for, they have a lot of unit histories in there. So you can read about what campaigns a certain unit was in. There's stories on the soldiers, stories on the units, the military units, and this is both Union and Confederate. But that is nps.gov/Civil War. No, that is Civil War only. Okay. There's another website. It is a commercial website, and it is called military.com. It refers you, it's kind of sort of a clearinghouse. It is not a government website, but it will refer you to the National Archives. It will refer you to va.gov, which is the government website. They are not an official government website, but they do work in conjunction with the Archives and the Veterans Administration. And you can get a lot of help there. It's a roadmap of, I don't know, it's hard to, it does a lot of things. And the best thing you will want to do is go in and look at that. Let's go to, well, I mentioned va.gov. This is the official government website. Again, there are a lot of things here. This is good for active duty military, retired military. It has things on healthcare, disability, but down here just a little bit. Oh my, look at this, records. And I hope you don't have the icon with all of our faces here covering this up, but it's kind of in the lower part over on the right. And Lynn, this can be for you. Requesting your military service records. And this tells you how to do it. Again, I am not going to go over each and every point here because it depends on whether you're requesting your records, a relative's records, records for a person not related to you, how long they've been out of the service. There's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts. However, if you look at it, it is fairly easy to understand. You can print out the forms that you need. And I'll be honest with you, there are so many things here. I did not check to see if it's all done online. I think you have to mail it in. Just doing a quick look. It lets you know if there's a charge. It lets you know if there's not a charge. And it even tells you how you can perhaps find records that were destroyed, damaged, whatever, in the 1973 fire there in St. Louis. And this is something, I mean, we can help you get started on it, but you'll have to do the work because they'll be sending the records to you, not me, not Ada. But we can help you with it, but you're the one that has to do it. So lots of good stuff here. And it tells you even how to get your DD-214 so you can get your military discount at Lowe's. Or if you're buying a Ring doorbell, they give a military discount too. So it tells you how to do it. Okay, I'm going to take a breath for just a little bit. I've got, I've covered a whole lot of things. I've got more to tell you about. I'm going to ask, are there any questions? And if you have a question, remember, you may be muted.
I want to thank you because we just went to Vicksburg a couple of days ago and it was so spiritual and just like I can't really explain how well they put together the whole place, but it's crazy that you're bringing up Civil War stuff, and we took pictures of all kinds of different names that I've noticed in my tree, last names. And so it'll be interesting to maybe cross-reference and do, it's just all kind of meshing with what we're studying in the scriptures and everything too.
Oh,
This week.
well, good.
I like it.
Now, you mentioned Vicksburg. In my opinion, the place I would start for you would be that NPS, National Park Service.gov/Civil War. That's the best place. And they give you just a little tidbit. They may give you the unit, and then it's a good place to get the unit history. And then if you want to delve deeper, you may want to come to the VA website or the National Archives. We're getting to them shortly. If you want to get their whole full-blown service record. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Let's do another website that is full of records. If you have ever heard of Cindy's List, CYNDILIST.com. Whoop, that's not it. CYNDISLIST.com. I'll respell that. Cindy's List with an S. That's what I forgot. Cindy's List is a place. It's not a place to do research. It is a place to hunt for places to do research. It's sort of like a clearinghouse. She has over 300,000 links. There are a bunch, she has them in categories, and I can't remember how I get to military. You can click categories, and someplace in here, there's military. Oh, darn. Just so you know, I practiced this. Shows you what, great. Oh, search Cindy's list. Nope, that's not it. Darn, I practiced this and now I can't do it. But I assure you, you can go into Cindy's list and, well, I looked under the M and military didn't come up. Let me try again. Oh, US military, pardon me, US military. And this will direct you to some more subcategories, and you can keep drilling down to find what you want. It might be newspapers, it might be histories of wars. You just need to go in and look. It is another tool that you can use. She is free to use. Her websites that she refers you to may or may not be free. Let's look at Familysearch.org. We can go in and search records. And first thing we will want to do is search the United States just by clicking on the map. One thing you're going to hear me talk about on some of these websites, learn to use the filters. If you just go in and search for military records, you're going to get the whole world. Most likely, you will not want that. Click on United States, and it's thinking. And here we go. And if we go down a bit, it starts giving you some categories. And one of them is military. Now it just shows 5 of them there. But if you click here, it says 39, but to me, now it went from 39 to 65 different collections. And oh, right here, one of the top ones is that Civil War veterans census of 1890, and it has about 900,000 names in it. Hopefully you will get lucky. There's also Confederate records, but you can see there's tons of records here. And if you just click on them, you can search by name, and on some of them, they are not indexed. And if you remember, it's sort of like going through the microfilm. I keep thinking it's this one. You can browse the collection, and you don't have, if in the old days you had to rent the microfilm, bring it into a family history center, pay $7 if you wanted it for 2 weeks, $10 if you wanted to keep it forever. But anyway, you can click on these names and it's going to bring up the images. And I need to back up here. And this is a hard way of doing it. You have to go through them one by one, unless they're indexed. So anyway, another tool we have for you. But do remember to use the filters if you're searching in Familysearch or even Ancestry, so that you're not looking at every record they have. You can filter it out by military, perhaps by conflict. If you're interested in Lithuanian research, you can filter it out by nationality in some cases. It just depends on the records you're looking for. Okay, let's take a look at Ancestry. We're actually going to do a search here, and we're going to use my grandfather. And let's see, he was born 1882. So we just punch this in. And we actually find several things on him without even filtering. But if you notice over here, a lot of people, they will just put in a name, search for it, and think, yay, boy, I found it. Well, just remember, I can look at just military records by clicking on military over here. Or maybe I want to look at court records, which we're not going to do tonight. But, you know, you can filter out the results. So let's click on military and see what we come up with Grandpa George. We can actually, oh, there's another George Hauser in Clay County. Gonna have to look at that one. I did not know that. Actually, on George, we can look at him. And this is a record of enlistments. Now I have to find him because they don't come up highlighted. Well, now that I want him, I'm not finding him. But to give you an idea, it will tell, you know, it will tell when they enlisted, where they enlisted, where they were born, their occupation, and this is done after the fact. It will even tell what unit or units they were in, and then their status, that they were, most of them say discharged. But that's in Ancestry. Now this only goes up to 1914. So if you're after someone recent, that's not going to be a lot of help. But, oh yeah, wifey just whispered in my ear here, that doesn't even include World War I. Okay, another biggie I want to cover here, and I think there is a class planned on this. in the future is using the Familysearch Wiki. And if you go to the search button here and go down to the research wiki, let's see here. Let's do United States. We can type in military. And it's, first of all, it will give you tips on how to search, how to find records by war, and we're actually going to look for military records. Again, they will give you links to online records. They have them broken out by Revolution, War of 1812, Civil War, World War I, World War II. They do it by branch of service. And, you know, I don't know what else to tell you about this other than you need to go in and look at it, because each of us are going to have different needs and wants, whether it's a recent ancestor, someone that's still living, Civil War, Revolution. And again, it gives you a bunch of links to some other places. It mentions someplace here, it tells you how to search records in NARA, which is the National Archives and Records Administration. And did you have a comment? Oh, Wifey brought up a couple of good points here that will help in your research. Remember that during, what was it, World War I and II, some people, you know, we hadn't entered the war, but certain ones wanted to go and fight. They actually enlisted in the British forces. So records for US ancestors may be in under the British records. And oh, her other comment was, if you have someone in the Air Force, remember the Air Force used to be the Army. Army Air Force. Or Army Air Corps or Air Force? Air Corps, we think. No. So remember that. Okie dokie. Again, I mean, they just keep going here. But yeah, any questions so far? Comments? Okay, I want to try. Okay, where I'm going to now is the National Archives. Their website is archives.gov/veterans. Here is another way to request military service records. If you're wanting somebody recently, this is a really good spot to go to. and they will walk you through. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Lynn. Oh, your phone keeps going down. Army enlistment records, plus Department of Veterans Affairs Burls Death Index are on Ancestry. There are also Familysearch. There are a variety of places. So, but one thing, they have some hints on how to handle your research, and that's right here in the middle. Before you start requesting, well, you'll want to look at it because they will guide you through it. And actually going through here, you know, those are such important records. I found they actually have a task force that is working on trying to salvage some of those records that got damaged. I had no idea. In St. Louis from that 1973 fire, that blew me away, and I pity the poor guy that has to do that. That would be a tough job. I want to go to fold 3 next. And before I do that, I want to ask any questions, comments, additions. Okay. Fold3.com. It is a subscription website. However, it is in some public libraries. Hearst has it, Euless has it. I don't know if Bedford has it. A question for the Johnsons that has been available at the Family History Center. I know they are redoing that. When is that to be available again?
We think around the 1st of September, Jim.
Okay, so about another month.
Yeah, that's the latest that we've had is around the 1st of September.
Okay.
And by the way, we are going to open the Family History Library around that time as well. So.
Okay, good. Yeah, maybe because I keep seeing the numbers going up again. So we'll see what happens there. Okay, fold 3. I do want to do some talking about that. Fold 3 has some really good stuff. However, the only way I can find stuff is yell over my right shoulder, "Hey, wifey, can you look up so-and-so in fold 3 for me?" For some reason, I cannot find anything. She can find quite a bit. So she's a really handy resource. And, you know, we'll do a little looking for you too, if requested. Send us an email or text or whatever, and we'll take a look for you. And that's true of other websites. Wifey just whispered in my ear, records change all the time. And that's the same in Ancestry and Familysearch. If you don't find it this week, check for it next week. Oh, yes, wifey pointed out that here across the top, they have records for the United States, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. And after that comment she mentioned earlier about some of our people may be found in British records because they entered the war earlier, you may want to remember and look there. Fold 3 they have some actual records. They have stories. They have photographs. They have histories on units. One thing that I was helping someone with, they have crash reports from World War II, which sound kind of gruesome. And the one I worked with it was no pictures, just reports, and kind of sad, but they have a lot of good information that can be helpful to you. They have a
Jim, I've
lot of,
got a question for you.
yes, ma'am.
I have a grandfather that was a private contractor for the military, and he went off to Nova Scotia to help put up NORAD. How do I find out anything on him? Would that be in military, or do I have to look someplace else?
That's a very good question, Candy. I would, Fold 3 might have some things on that. Well, I had some pre-done searches. We'll try doing something here. Oh, and before I start the searches, one other thing you can do, you can actually create memorial pages, because sometimes I find some of the records in here hard to find. So like on Wifey's great, whatever it is, grandfather Larry Dew, and on Grandpa George Hauser, I have found his records, pulled them together, what we can find on a little memorial page. So whenever you find it, everything's together. But Candy, do you happen to know his name off the top of your head?
Yes, I do.
What would that be? We'll do a live search. We'll see what we can find.
Okay, Charles Edward Brazier. BR
Okay, so somebody sneezed. What's the last name?
Brazier, Brazier.
Let's see what we can find. Was he from Maryland,
No.
Delaware?
It'd be Minnesota.
Old man's draft card.
Yeah.
Was he Blue Earth County?
Yep, that's him.
Okay,
That's his old
and
name.
it says he was a building contractor. And, the back page.
Oh, okay, they show the back.
Yeah, he was 5'6" and weighed 140 pounds.
Wow.
Now we know. Let's see. We might have to add, let's try something. I talked about using filters, and that was one of the things I was going to show. But whenever you're doing a search, over here on the right, oh, thank you. Yes, it's my other right. On the left, we can do searches by conflict, World War II, non-military. We might look non-military. We might look places.
Okay.
And you said where, Nova Scotia?
I think that's where it went in.
Yeah. Well, that didn't do it.
No.
Nothing there. But I think they have the stars and stripes newspaper in here. I can't remember. You know, I haven't seen that in my searches. We
He
might
did have a unit that he was associated with on that card.
It's not.
No, it was all contractors and electrician type stuff that were setting up the
the
building
big ears.
towers.
Yeah, this is just the draft registration.
Sometimes it has a unit on it, but
So, yeah, this is what they call the old man's draft cards.
yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't look like it on this one. So, nope.
Correct. He probably had
We-
a contract that he was associated with in order to,
Yeah, maybe. But it looks like his name only came up, or that name only came up 3 or 4 times. And now sometimes,
Now, does NORAD have records that I could go into?
they may.
I don't know, that's going to be my next, oh, well, found him in the census. They're in Blue Earth.
Uh-huh.
Not showing anything there. Oh, yeah, wifey's going, do we know if he was working for a Canadian company or?
No, well, it was American, but I think it was joint with the Canadians.
Yeah, we were building it on their land,
Yeah.
so,
Uh-huh.
so that'd be, what, was he actually in the service, or because he was a contractor, he was exempt?
I don't think he was in World War II service.
Okay, so he was probably an essential contractor,
Yeah.
so. Okay. Let me try one more search here so you can see some actual military records. Let's see, I think Larry Do. And what I want to do on him is filter by Civil War. And boy, I've got a lot of things I can show you. This is his actual service record here. And it says there are 7 pages. And it tells you what unit he was in.
Yeah, I did. I indexed these.
Comment, he died in White Sulphur Springs. And these are the actual documents. And oh, one thing, his name was Larry, but the way they've got it, L-A-R-A. And that made him a little hard to find until we figured that out. And that's very common back in this era.
They did a number of these, and they would have at least periodic times when they conducted, when they needed to turn these forms in about with regards to people, and if they transferred, they had to turn a new form in, and if they got moved into a different unit, they had to have new form and
Yeah,
lot of that went on. So every time that changed, they got a new card like you just
right.
there. So
So, and then something we did, we kind of created this memorial page, which I'm not going to go through. Say what, wifey? Oh, yeah, we pulled all the records together. And again, I'm not going to pull these all up, but we just made it easy to find. Because one of the things we didn't know, we had always heard that Grandma Patsy didn't file for a widow's pension. Well, I think that was the first thing we found, that we've got that record in here, and then that led to another record, and yada, yada, yada. And, you know, then the story about him dying at White Sulphur Springs, which back then was in Virginia, but is now West Virginia. So, you know, you can put all these together to make it easier to find the records. You don't have to search for them individually.
Okay, so you're keeping all these records on fold 3. You are not taking the records and transferring them to Familysearch.
There are some on there that we have been able to find that we could. So we've done both. So yes, we try and do them both places because this is a subscription site. And unless you subscribe, except on Memorial Day and Veterans Day, you can't, oh, and 4th of July, you can't go in and look unless you go to either the public library or the Family History Center or come to our kitchen table. So we keep them here for other Fold 3 subscribers. We also, we try and put everything we can on Familysearch because that's free.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Because I am just about talked out. Okay.
Brother Howard, I just wanted to tell you, thank you so much because you're giving me so many leads. And I appreciate that Sister Johnson worked so hard to record these for us so I can sit and like freeze frame you and try something and then move on. Thank you so much.
If you have any questions, get a hold, go, yeah, let me try that again. I've been talking for an hour. I'm tired. You know, shoot us an email, give us a call, get with the Johnsons. We'll do whatever we can to help you. And, you know, some of these websites, if you need help navigating, you know, I said you're on your own. Well, some of the things you will have to do yourself, but we'll help you in whatever way we can. But if they have a $35 fee to get your military records, you're going to have to write that check. I love helping you, but I'm not going to help you that much.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Oh, darn. How do I return host ship? Do I click participants?
yes.
And then go to my name and more.
Yeah. Well, yeah, stop video, pin, spotlight oh, make host. Yes, I do.
Okay.
So, okay, I hope I've helped. I hope I've helped everybody, but I hope I've given Lynn some ideas here on how we can proceed. A lot of these ideas came from questions that you asked Wifey And then she whispered to me, and I tried to include those in this. So I really hope we helped you out.
You did lots.
Good. Thank you.
We certainly appreciate it.